Ken, the 1995 Super Truck champion Mike Skinner sitting in his truck. Mike, first of all, great season.
Thank you very much. We had a lot of fun.
What do you expect out of this racetrack today? And did you watch what just happened here in the dash race?
Nah, we didn't watch a whole lot of it. We was in there watching some of it on television, and you know, those cars handle a lot different than these trucks do. We're using this as a test. We're trying to figure out how we want to come back here. You know, we throw a basic setup under the truck, and we're just going to see how it does. You know, hopefully we can get 7, 8, 10, maybe 15 green laps to find out what it's going to do and how the tires are going to hold up. But I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Mike, what do you think of the racetrack so far and the facility in general?
I really like it. It's a good racetrack. You know, a lot of people slipped. You just have to really respect it getting in the corner. It's real easy to overdrive this place, and you know, I hope we don't get caught up doing that today.
Best of luck, Mike. Let's go to Randy Pemberton, who's with a driver on the comeback trail.
No doubt about it. He's off the mend and on the move. He dominated a Winston Cup race a week ago before falling out. Ernie Irvin, sitting in your truck. What about it here, putting these trucks out on this 1.5 mile flat super speedway?
Well, I tell you, you know, it's the trucks handle really good here. It amazed me when we got out there. You know, we're running really close to about the same speed we ran in the Busch car. Obviously, my Busch car didn't go very fast, so you know, but it was exciting, and I don't see any problem running the trucks here.
Hey, good luck this afternoon. Be safe.
Yeah, he gets an ovation wherever he goes these days. Ernie Irvin. Now we're looking, and they're looking at more standings, and NASCAR is considering moving Hutto to 6, and right now that's what's just come up on the computer. They placed him in 6, and that's going to leave Hutto. They're going to have to get another diamond ring. One for Hutto and one for Cottle. Take another look at that finish that brought around the hubbub when it was over, and the hubbub's gone on for about 15 minutes. You see the 74 shoot to the inside. Looks like the 5 just backed up.
Yeah, it did. Something happened to him on that restart. He just didn't get the kind of start that he would like to have had. And boom, in the wall she went.
Jacob Hobgood was credited with 10th position, that guy that was up in front. So there you see part of the fountain service at the new motorsports complex here in Homestead, Florida. And right off to its left is what all the folks in town, Ralph Sanchez says, we did it together, the community did it, and the folks out here in the elevator, and it's all local support and so forth. We're going to call that Lake Sanchez for Ralph.
And you know, it's one thing to come here and enjoy the physical facility, but for this to have been the first race and to have had it been so competitive all the way through, and to have this dramatic finish not only for the championship but for the race itself, what an inauguration to this speedway.
Well, we're getting an official word now. It is down and short. NASCAR moving Hutto to 6, which makes it a tie for the championship for 1995. Hutto will win the tiebreaker, 5 wins, and that was just 2 wins for Cottle on the season. Camera looking over the 1.5 mile. Homestead Motorsports Complex, and we're getting this word from NASCAR. They're going to wait until this truck event is over, and then they're going to sort out this event. If it ended in a tie in the points, it goes back to most wins on the season, 5-4. 5-4, the decision would go to Hutto over Cottle by that 1 win. Hutto had 5, and Cottle had 4 wins on the 1995 campaign. You can't get them closer than that. You get down to the end of the season and go back to look over the whole year, and you win it by 1 win. Yep. Scored earlier on the season. Boy, that's something. But they haven't made that official. That is not official at this moment. They're still over there in a confab. But that move to 6th place, that seems like it will stand. Stay tuned.
Getting a look at the trucks here. They're lined up, sitting on the grid.
Well, you know, we've seen these trucks. We saw them in Denver. We saw them at Milwaukee, and that great show up there. And well, here we are in this environment for them. And your thoughts as you look at these trucks come onto a track where they can pull all the speed that they've got to give.
Well, that's the real
2,100-foot straightaway.
Yeah, that's the real concern here, is the high speeds. Until today, they have run these trucks only on tracks that are a mile in length or less, and some of their best shows have been on the smaller tracks. And aerodynamically, these trucks are very, very different than race cars per se. They have aerodynamic lift in the nose when they are at high speed, meaning that the air actually tries to lift the nose off the ground by a few pounds. Not much downforce on the back, nowhere near as much downforce as the race cars had, because what happens is the air hits that big blunt nose, goes right over the top of the roof of the truck, comes down about in the middle of the bed in the back, bounces up and catches about the top 2 inches of the back spoiler. So this is a bit of an aerodynamic experiment to see how they will work at this high-speed new track in Florida.
And let's talk about how they're going to line them up for this event, this very special event, to let the super trucks, the Craftsman super trucks, out here and see what they're going to do. For the grid for this race, let's take a look at row number 1. And as we understand it, Mike Skinner is going to, correction, they're going to put Jimmy Hensley into the first row with Ernie Irvin alongside. That's row 1. Hensley, who can drive anything and drive it well, and you know the story of Ernie Irvin and this incredible comeback. Row 2 is going to be Mike Chase, and Jeff Bodine is there with his own truck, number 7. Going to row 3, and there you have John Nemechek in a Chevrolet, and Michael Doken in a Chevrolet as well, number 64. Looking at row 4, this is Rick Carilli. This is this big star from the West out of Denver, Colorado. He pretty much owned that track out there in Denver. He's run everything. He's won the Winston West. Watch for him today. And Butch Miller, who gave so many great races to this season's success of the Craftsman Series. Butch Miller out of the Midwest. Wonderful to see him run. Then you've got Mike Skinner, the man himself, that won the series title. And Ron Esau has come all the way from California. Give it a shot. Hey, it's going to be fun.
The way they've done this lineup, by the way, is they have done it by points. But they've inverted the whole field. Now, all year long, what they've done is take the guy who was fastest and pretty much start him up front. They did a couple of little inversions, but this is the first time that the very best of the equipment has started in the back. That is with the exception of Esau, who is starting absolutely tail end because he is a late entry.
Yeah, and that Mike Skinner turned this track at 41.066, 132.372, and there you're riding with Mike Skinner, who was the fastest out here, and they inverted the field. Hey, this is going to be like a short track race on a mile and a half.
Wow. Skinner's strong. He won 8 of these races. They've had 20 of them until today. He has won 8 of them, won the most money. He won 4 of the poles this year. He has really dominated the series.
And you're riding with Rick Carilli right now as he gets set to go.
Carilli has yet to win one of these truck races. He's been close. He was second at Flemington, but has not yet crossed the line in first spot. Towed it all the way in from Denver to run this.
There you see that Biscayne National Park right off the back straightaway, looking down toward the Key West area. Actually looking toward the ocean here. Just a few miles down the road. The Florida Keys, all the way down to the end of the United States. It's all here at Homestead.
Yeah,
Homestead, Florida. The crowd keeps pouring in this afternoon. I mean, we started out okay.
I
sold out for tomorrow.
I think a lot of people had to work, and they've just flown out of work to get here. Look at this. The place is packed.
Yep. And they want to see, because the word is first race Craftsman Super Truck Series for 1996, Homestead, Florida. From the blimp, there you get a look. Call that a helicopter, call it a blimp. It's still a great shot. All right, we're getting set on this one. This is 25 laps. 25 laps to get this one undergo. Mike Skinner this season defeating Joe Ruttman and Ron Hornaday. Butch Miller wound up 4th in those point standings. And all season long, the excitement in this particular series of NASCAR, brand new series this year. Went out to Tucson, ran that great winter heat series, got it off to a bit of a start. But from the moment they cranked them up, time after time sold out. That crowd in Milwaukee, that standing ovation at the end of that race. And I think it was for the entire field. It was so amazing.
And Mesa Marin, they sold out. They have set records virtually every place they have run. They ran at Phoenix last weekend, and they drew a tremendous crowd there for their race on Saturday. Huge crowd.
And not a bad crowd for the first day here on a Saturday afternoon in Miami. Grand National going to appear tomorrow. They'll decide all of their points, all the point battles, although it's pretty much decided up in front. Johnny Benson is the champion. He's going to move on to Winston Cup, but there's a lot of guys that have said, like Mike McLaughlin, they're going to stay in Grand National at least another 2 years. They're happy there.
And from second on back, the points are very much at issue in that Grand National division.
Okay, we're getting set to go here. Truck racing's the story right now. We get ready to turn them loose, have ourselves some fun with the super trucks of NASCAR in their first time on a mile and a half.
Dodge on the pole with Jimmy Hensley. Ford on the outside with Ernie Irvin behind the wheel.
And that Dodge can give them fits. That's the Dodge that can really carry the mail on a big track. All right, getting down, turned them loose, coming up to speed. Bodine dives right to the inside. Make no mistake about it.
And the outside, he's just sort of shuffling around there.
Out in front goes Jimmy Hensley. Puts the Dodge in front for the moment.
Something unusual with this race is that NASCAR has let several of the teams load the truck with live computers to record data to see what's going on during the running of a race. NASCAR usually doesn't let you have a computer in any sort of race vehicle.
Riding with Rick Corelli's, he gives you a view coming around the speedway. The Denver, Colorado driver dives down to the inside. Boy, they pick up the speed on this. Here they are in the main straightaway. Hensley drawing away. Bodine pulls down to the inside on Ernie Irvan for second. Field into one. As they're in an overtake on Jimmy Hensley. Jeff Bodine, driving his own truck this afternoon, wheels it off and comes after him in the X-side Ford. Back straightaway. And the fans are on their feet. No one sitting down on this one. Here comes Ernie Irvan and Skinner down to the bottom.
Close competition.
Sure, we're just going to go down and see how they feel and so forth.
Oh, yeah.
They dropped the flag, and if it was for $5, here comes Ernie Irvan. They'd put it all on the line. If there was nobody here, these guys would race all day. 3 wide, now back to 2 wide. Skinner goes out in front.
All the way from the back, Mike Skinner to the front. Mike Chase now in second spot.
That's what we're used to in this particular series. Ernie Irvan up in there, Mike Skinner, Jeff Bodine.
Or any series where there is a black vehicle with a white or a silver number 3 on the door.
Bodine slipping back now. He's starting counter again. Here he comes. He's under Jimmy Hensley. That little Dodge number 30 at Milwaukee just put on such a show with Hornaday and Skinner. 30 laps they fought. And as I say, at Milwaukee on that mile, an entire crowd stood up as one. And they must have applauded for 5 minutes. It was some performance, and it was an eat your heart out kind of race. Here's Butch Miller's number 98. He seems to have found a place. They had 13 different champions from major American racing series, all in the Craftsman Super Truck Series last year. So much great racing talent. And to see Sammy Swindell run against Butch Miller, that's as good as it gets for me. All right, Skinner out in front. Here he comes, leading the pack.
Any report of smoke out of the number 1 truck? That's Mike Chase. Scoop Bessel's machine. He was one of the originators of this truck series. 3 of them got together and decided we ought to race trucks. Then they realized that NASCAR could really do it right and handed it to NASCAR. Oh yeah, there's that smoke. Bessel's, Jim Venable, Dick Landfield, all part of the original group that began this truck series. Jeff Bodine on the low side now, getting it done. Butch Miller in the 98 car. That's the same car, same truck. Sorry, truck.
Oh, wow. Skinner comes across in first. Bodine is second. Ernie Irvan up to third. And back comes Jimmy Hensley with that Chrysler. I tell you, they are having one good time. But they've had a good time wherever they've gone this year.
It's been good close racing, but everybody's had a lot of fun too. It's been an interesting experience to throw so many diverse racers together in a single series, and everybody has gotten along just fine. Nobody's punched anybody else in the nose at all.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that. There have been some moments. You get Joe Ruttman and you get Swindell, and they may put a black flag out on that number 1. When the PJ drove throughout the season, looking like it's having some problems getting some smoke out, and they don't want to grease this one up. Jimmy Hensley pulls up on Ernie Irvan in a battle for third. The NASCAR Super Trucks taking a good hard look, and there's that number 30.
Ford versus a Dodge.
Yep. And that number 30 with Jimmy Hensley. Anybody wants a driver, they turn to Jimmy Hensley. He is the journeyman driver of NASCAR these days. Put him in a Winston Cup, put him in a Grand National, put him in the Super Truck. put him in anything, and he'll bring you home a race car, or he'll give you a race.
And that truck is absolutely loaded with electronics. The engineers from Dodge were here all morning wiring that truck up. It had so much stuff on it, even the crew chief couldn't list everything that they're monitoring during the running of this race.
Rick Corelli pulling up on Butch Miller in that crowd a little further back. You see Butch Miller. Now Rick Corelli just eased on back, takes another look from the inside. Rick Corelli, whose car owner owns that Denver National track, Colorado National, and they packed it. They had, what, 15,000. They're trying to add 7,000 or 8,000 seats in there for the super trucks to come back in 1996. Big success in Colorado. Wherever you go, you find truck country in the United States, and this NASCAR Super Truck Series seems to fill the bill. Rick Corelli in 7th spot. Remember, he made a run in the Winston Cup for Rookie of the Year. Fell short, but he's been a Winston West champion, been champion of that track in Denver. Beautiful 3/8. It's one of those tracks that has one of those where you can take two different sets. You can take a high groove, which is almost a different bank from the low set. Take your choice, you can fly there.
Ernie Irvan running in 4th spot.
And nobody is sitting down. I think the mere fact that Ernie Irvan elected to come down here and give it a go with that number 28. And people are just, he is just so much a part of NASCAR racing today. His phenomenal comeback and the last runs of the season wasn't it fun to watch him with Earnhardt. Earnhardt treated him with respect. He knows about this one, I think, and Earnhardt wasn't kidding. He was trying to beat Irvan in that last show, but he waited on him because he figured that he might not see him in the blind spot.
Well, Irvan says he knows exactly where people are on the left side of that truck. He's got a little mirror on the side of it. He uses a pair of glasses that gives him very good depth vision. He said, hey, from your helmet back, nobody can see back there. No one has eyes behind their head. And Ernie Irvan is very insistent he has as good peripheral vision as everybody else. He says he hears trucks beside him. He can feel them. He has a spotter up there. He says he is no more of a handicap here than any other driver.
The only driver with eyes in the back of his head in the last decade has been Earnhardt. And he has the wide, and seriously, he sees a camera almost behind him move, drives him nuts. Hey, let's get down to Randy for just a moment.
Well, I just want to make an update on Ernie Irvan's truck. Speaking to him just before we interviewed him before he rolled off. Having a little trouble talking today. Been a long day. But Ernie Irvan said the body on this truck has not been massaged. Now, these trucks, they do have templates. They have to fit the standard configuration of whether it's a Dodge or a Ford or a Chevy. But Ernie said the body is not necessarily massaged. So as we see Skinner and Jeff Bodine pulling away from this pack behind, we see that aerodynamics already making a difference in the truck series as well. So they do massage these bodies, and this is not one of the better ones. Kind of a short track truck for Ernie. Caution is out.
Caution's coming out. Caution is out. Mike Skinner leading. Bodine is second. Ernie Irvan third. Hensley fourth. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Butch Miller is in fifth. And then following in sixth is Nemechek, followed by Carrilli. Doken back there behind him, and Ron Esau. We'll take a quick break and then be back with you with more of the Super Truck first showing at the Homestead Motorsports Complex. We're just back under green, and there you see them on the break going into turn number 1, headed for turn 2. Ernie Irvan was up on the top, and they shuffled that one in a hurry into the back straightaway. We can pick up on those leaders.
It's Jeff Bodine in the lead. He has not yet won in this truck series. Got 2 seconds, but no wins.
There's Butch Miller in the 98, crowding the bottom, running them too wide. Wide open, picked up the speed by about 25 miles an hour over the Dash Series cars. Here's Skinner on the outside.
It's the same truck, the number 98, that won in Erie, Colorado. Miller got done with that win and spun the truck, did a 360 right in front of the grandstand, and they did love it.
Butch Miller, that gray vest, is taking a wide line in there, follows him in as they race it hard down into turn number 2 and out into the back straightaway. Here comes Ernie Irvan under Skinner in the 28. Ernie Irvan back up into third. Bodine, Miller, then Skinner and Irvan continue their own war.
Yeah, look at the dent in the right front fender of Irvan's truck. He has come into contact with somebody.
Lean on me is the grand old song here.
And I'll bet it was Skinner, because they were running awful close together.
Having a great time. That's the postcard from Miami these guys will be sending home. Wish you were here. 175 miles an hour feels great. Look at Skinner in the number 3, pushing it right through the corner. Now we've got the official word on the decision from that Goodies Dash Championship race. Here it is. Hutto will get 6th position. At 6th place in the race, and he wins on a tiebreaker, 5-4 over Cottle. Cottle 4 wins, Hutto 5 wins. Hutto is the Goodies Dash champion for this year. Another memorable title back in 1961. A couple of folks from up in New York State. Billy Wimble, number 33, and Dick Nephew from Plattsburgh, New York. They went at it right to the end of the season. And in those days, they didn't have a tiebreaker situation. They called them co-champions, Billy Wimble and Dick Nephew. They're still arguing up there about that one. Let's get out of Steve Burns with some very happy people.
Ken, with a young and emotional NASCAR champion, the youngest NASCAR champion ever, David Hutto. Congratulations.
You're right, it's emotional, you know. I'm glad we could do it. First of all, I'd like to thank God, you know, if it wasn't for him, I might not get started back going across the white flag. But I'd like to thank Shell Fire and Ice, also ETD, and Gateway Shell, and Jan and Mike Moore. They've worked with us. Shell has been working with us all year, and Jan and Mike Moore, they've been working with us for this race, and they've done a great job, got us plenty of exposure for this race, you know. My dad, he's great, you know, if it wasn't for him, I couldn't be racing either, you know. And I'd like to thank all the people back home, you know, and all the people in the stands. I love Homestead, Florida City. You know, they made me right at home. Glad we come down here and race and come back again.
Okay, congratulations, and Dad, congratulations as well. Mike Skinner's off the pace.
A Shell Fire and Ice story for sure here today. Iced for a while, fired up at the end. There's your winner of the entire series. And out here in the truck race right now, Butch Miller has gone in front. Jeff Bodine is in second. Mike Skinner back up a little, 3rd. Ernie Irvin is in 4th. Jimmy Hensley is in 5th. Rick Corelli is in 6th.
Irvin just moved into 3rd. Just as you said that, Irvin got by Skinner. Butch Miller on the lead. He has 1 win in 1995. Jeff Bodine in the 7 has won nothing in 1995. He won 3 Winston Cup points races last year. And I'll tell you what, every time any of these positions up front change, these people in the grandstand go nuts. They are all still standing. Big crowd here, all on their feet, watching the trucks have battle.
And every time there's a move up in front, and particularly when Irvin swings it in there to take a shot, this place just erupts. It's dramatic to see a new facility open, one as beautiful as this, and then to see these very top drivers that NASCAR has amassed come out here and try out their trucks and have a great time.
Wow, that was Skinner. Look at that move. Boom, to the bottom of the racetrack with a number 3.
Thought he was in an IndyCar.
Oh.
Stuck it in.
He got it done.
Yeah, got it under Irvin.
Done.
Don't worry, Ernie's thinking of something for him. Butch Miller stays on the point. Miller is in front. Jeff Bodine is in 2nd.
This is neat.
Skinner in 3rd, and here comes Bodine to the bottom. Miller dropping back into 3rd spot. Bodine takes him right to the wall. Into 2. Now down that 2,100-foot back straightaway here in the greater Miami area. Former Daytona 500-mile champion Jeff Bodine puts it on him. Skinner staying right with him. 5 to go when they hit the line this time.
Maybe we shouldn't say hit when they're running that close.
Yeah.
They are so close out there.
They are going to come out, every one of them smiling. Here's Skinner looking on the inside, coming after Bodine with 5 to go.
Yeah, but Bodine moved down to protect that bottom, and he got it done. Held Skinner off.
Ernie Irvin line 4th. Looks to the inside. Playing bumper tag at over 170, 75 miles an hour out here.
Hensley in the Dodge has faded. I shouldn't say faded. He is in there. Hensley in the Dodge is 5th. Look at this battle for the lead.
Skinner ready to put the bumper on him.
Oh, look at this.
I want to come through. How do you do? Knock, knock, who's there? Skinner's the name.
This is not good for concession sales at Homestead.
Jimmy Hensley lies 5th with that Dodge. Corelli is back in 6th.
You can see those hoods fluttering around. That's the aerodynamic lift that they are experiencing here. air, trying to lift the nose of the trucks off the ground. About 75 pounds of lift for most of them.
For these guys, we've said it so many times, but I think it is what makes this sport so great. If there was no one of these grandstands and it was for 25 bucks and they could bring their trucks in and everything's even, they might go out and doodle, running around. They end up racing and loving it. They just never lose that spirit. They're a very special breed, and thank God that they're at a point now in this racing. Look at Bodine coming back on Skinner
With 3 to go.
with the money where it is and continuing to increase year after year in NASCAR. Oh, Skinner to the inside.
Sliding to the inside. Look
that
at
cost
this.
him a little.
And Butch Miller.
And look at Ernie Irvin. He threw one on and made Miller lift or take the wall. How do you do?
Wow. Michael Doken in the 64 has pulled out.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wants to watch this thing in.
I don't blame him.
Oh,
Look at this. There's Bodine. And if you think he's going to give an inch to Skinner right now, seen Bodine racing modified years ago. There's no give in him. He's going to stay there if he can.
yeah, and look
Look at him trying to pull him out.
There we have it. Something new here at Homestead. Jeff Bodine all the way to the bottom to protect that bottom. Shades of Neil Bonnet years ago at Pocono International Raceway.
Wouldn't Neil have loved this track?
Yes, he would. Yep, and the trucks, this whole deal.
He would have got out and smiled for about 15 seconds. You know what we got to do? What we got to do is, and then he'd go through a litany of about 20 things that everybody'd have to change, and that poor crew, they'd go to work, and he'd come through.
Well, that's the deal.
Take a look at Skinner coming back on the inside. Laps running down. White flag about to come out. Top 2 pulled away. They've got about 6 truck lengths on Ernie Irvin in 3rd. Jeff Bodine is on the point. Slotted in 2nd. There you see the 1995. So just wanted to see how that wall felt out there. Brush it off a little. Skinner there. And here comes Irvin.
I think they both hit it. I think they both touched the wall.
I'm pretty sure Bodine creased it. Coming down, checkers about to fly. The NASCAR Super Trucks coming to the line. They're going to open their season on this 1.5 miles. That's the word we get. And here comes Skinner trying to push him out. Crowd is on their feet and screaming. To the stripe, Jeff Bodine, Skinner, Ernie Irvin, Miller, Jimmy Hensley, Rick Corelli across the stripe. Hey, that was fun. John Nemechek finished himself 7th. We'll take a break and be back with some closing thoughts this afternoon from the great Homestead Motorsports Complex.
Welcome back, everybody, to Homestead. Jeff Bodine, the winner. What a battle with Mike Skinner, Jeff.
Yeah, sure was. We've had a few of them this year, and this time we came out on top. We're glad for Exide, for Ford, F-150, for Tandy Tucker Salsa, LA West Fans, Bosch, Napa. You know, we wanted to win a race in this series before the year was over. Yeah, we know this isn't a points race. Yeah, everybody wasn't here, but we still won, and it feels just as good. Yeah!
Way to go, Jeff. Let's go back to Ken Squire.
If you think he feels good, think about Rock Hill, South Carolina tonight, where they're going to be celebrating the championship of David Hutto, who came home first in the point battle, one of the most dramatic finish of
That is, so many communities in America need a racetrack like this one. What a big day.
Well, it's over for this afternoon. It's been an exciting day of racing at a brand new facility that's going to change the way many Americans feel about motorsports. On behalf of Randy Pemberton and Steve Burns, Dick Berggren alongside, I'm Ken Squire. We hope you've enjoyed the first day of racing at the Homestead Motorsports Complex. And American racing thanks you, Homestead.